Hola y bienvenidos a todos. Hi and welcome everyone to another Speech Bubble Languages Spanish session with me, Louise, from Speech Bubble Languages HQ here in East Kilbride in Glasgow. Today's session is suitable for intermediate learners of the language. Today we're going to be exploring how we talk about school subjects, subjects that you study or studied at school, and also be looking at how we tell people the reasons why we are studying Spanish. So without further ado, let's get ourselves working on looking at different types of school subjects. Las asignaturas al colegio, subjects at school. This first part is a talking part, so I want you to be listening carefully to the pronunciation and repeating the Spanish words out loud after me. Focus on getting that pronunciation as perfect as you can. Let's go for it, everyone. Las asignaturas al colegio, school subjects. Here's our first one. Francés. Tongue coming out. Francés. Dibujo. Dibujo. Nice hess sound at the back of our throat. Teatro. Teatro. Deporte. Deporte. Inglés. Accent up on the E. Inglés. This one I hope you know already. Español. Español. Alemán. Accent on the A. Alemán. Música. Música. Coming into the back of the throat again here with this one. Biología. Biología. Química. Química. Física. Física. Tecnología. Tecnología. Religión. Religión. Historia. Historia. Geografía. Geografía. Informática. Big angry A in the center. Informática. Another angry A happening here too. Matemáticas. Matemáticas. We're now going to group our three sciences together, biología, química, and física, to create the joint word ciencias. Tongue out each time. Ciencias. Joining our languages together, español, alemán, and francés, to give us idiomas. We can also say here lenguas or lenguas modernas. Muy bien hecho. If you'd like to try those words once again to perfect your pronunciation, hit pause and rewind the video here and try these a few more times out loud. Why not also turn the volume down as well so you can't hear me, and try to say the words out loud before the English word appears on the bottom of the screen. Try it a couple of times over before meeting me back here to do some verb conjugation. So obviously when we're talking about subjects that we study, we're going to need this guy on the screen, estudiar. Estudiar means to study. So we're going to take a look at estudiar first of all in the present tense. I study, I am studying. Estudiar, as you'll know, is in the format of the infinitive. So we need to conjugate him so we can talk about who's doing the studying. The formation that we use when we conjugate our verbs is to take the order of the pronouns, I, you, he, she, or it, we, you, and they. Take our verb estudiar and drop off the AR ending to leave us with the verb stem. That's a bit without the last two letters on. To say I study, we say estudio. What about the rest of this verb? Do you know it already? If you think you do, pause it, scribble it, and then hit play to check. If not, follow along with me now. I study, estudio. You study, estudias. He studies, she or it. Maybe he or she only there is studying, estudia. We study, estudiamos. You all study, estudiáis. And finally, estudian to give you the study. Shall we say that verb together? Estudio, estudias, Estudia, estudia, estudia. Estudiamos, estudiáis, estudian. Excelente. So if I were to ask you, ¿qué estudias? What do you study? You're studying Spanish, aren't you? You would need the verb I study, estudio, and the word for Spanish, español. So, ¿qué estudias? What do you study? Estudio español. I study Spanish. For lots of us, myself included, however, we're going to have to play with this verb estudiar a little bit more because we're no longer in education. We want to talk about what we used to study, what you were studying when you were at school. This is the imperfect tense of the verb estudiar now. We're going to keep the formation of the pronouns the same. We're going to take that verb estudiar and remove his final two letters. Now we're going to be saying not I study, but I used to study. Can you remember the formation of the imperfect tense? We have estudiaba, estudiabas, estudiaba, estudiábamos, estudiabais, and finally estudiaban. Shall we say it together? Estudiaba, estudiabas, estudiaba, estudiaba, estudiaba. Estudiábamos, estudiabais, and finally estudiaban. These verbs are huge, aren't they? So if, like me, you're no longer in education, I could then ask you, ¿qué estudiabas en el colegio? What did you used to study in school? To form your answer, you'll need now not estudio, I study, but estudiaba, and then your subjects you maybe studied at school. Can you fill in your speech bubble at this point in our lesson then? ¿Qué estudiabas en el colegio? What did you used to study at school? En el colegio estudiaba inglés, historia, matemáticas, español y yo francés también. ¿Y tú? ¿Qué estudiabas en el colegio? The second half of our session then is going to ask you, why are you studying Spanish? Why do you study Spanish? ¿Por qué estudias español? ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Por qué estudias español? Let's explore some reasons that we might give to explain our choice to study Spanish. Again, this time I'm going to ask you to speak these sentences out loud and focus on your pronunciation. ¿Por qué estudias español? Me gusta la cultura. Me gusta la cultura. Me gusta la gente. Me gusta la gente. Me gusta la comida. Me gusta la comida. Me gusta aprender. Me gusta aprender. Me ayuda con mi trabajo. Me ayuda con mi trabajo. Me fascina. Me fascina. Me interesa. Me interesa. Me desafía. This one challenges me. Me desafía. Quizás, sí. Voy de vacaciones a España. Do you go your holidays there? Voy de vacaciones a España. Maybe you're lucky or have the same plans as I have. Quiero vivir en España. Quiero vivir en España. Or maybe you already have a place there. Tengo una casa en España. Tengo una casa en España. No matter what your reasons may be for learning Spanish, I'm sure that most of you will agree with this sentence here. Mi sueño es hablar con fluidez. My dream is to speak fluently. Mi sueño es hablar con fluidez. I'm sure most of you can say that one too. Our second speech bubble and final one then of the lesson. ¿Por qué estudias español? Why are you studying Spanish? ¿Por qué estudias español? Yo estudio español porque me fascina, me desafía y quiero vivir en España. Es mi sueño hablar con fluidez. ¿Y tú? ¿Por qué estudias español? I hope you've taken some time to fill in your two speech bubbles, in fact, for this session this week. And why not share your answers in the comments below or bring your work along to class if you're learning with us so that we can hear your gorgeous Spanish out loud and check your work that you've been writing down for us. We're here to support you every step of your way in the language learning journey with Speech Bubble. Until next time, everyone, muchas gracias y adiós a todos. Bye, everyone.